Good evening, everyone. So, going to start with the embedded computing system, which we have seen something basics about the microcontrollers, about the basics of microcontrollers in second lectures, as well as we have started with the first chapter, that is the embedded computing and its applications, or we have seen the number of things in the last few lectures. So, in continuing with those lectures, we are going to see what is the embedded computing. We have seen already what do you mean by embedded system, which is nothing but a combination of hardware and softwares. So this point is also been known to you all, that just to get the background for the last lectures, I am going to represent the same slide again over here. That is, the embedded computing systems in our day-to-day life. Also we are handling so much of instruments, so much of electronic gadgets such as the consumer devices, or you may call it as a smartphones or the gaming consoles nowadays. So that gaming consoles is nothing but, if you see, the video games or the TV games or the online games which we are playing right now or during this lockdown period, number of children are addicted to these game consoles nowadays. So what actually these game consoles are? That is nothing but embedded systems. You can see the software is loaded, the hardware is been applied. So nowadays it is easy to play that video games easily, which is nothing but an embedded. So to the less visible electronic devices that to control, now instead of using the bulky devices, electronic devices, the handheld electronic devices are used, and which can be controlled easily. For instance, for example, if you can take, there are nowadays we are seeing the driverless cars. So what are these driverless cars? These driverless cars are nothing but the embedded system, embedded computed in it. So there is a hardware and there is a software which is controlled by the controller, and the car has been driving, the car has been running on the road nowadays without the driver. But this is possible only due to the help of embedded systems. So if the applications running with the desktop is more nowadays, the similarly or kind of more applications can be done into that embedded systems in a sophistication way. So in particular mobile devices now supports the computationally intensive applications. Now you can see there are the number of companies, those who are designing their own mobiles. So each and every mobile is different according to the user's need, according to the user's application, according to the user's demand. Each and every company is growing their own mobiles, they are designing their own mobiles. So if you see, or if you take an example of Apple phone, so each and every series is different, right? Similarly, if you see the example of Samsung company, each and every series of the Samsung is having its unique identification, it is having its own features. So nowadays this is possible only with the help of the embedded systems. So these mobiles are nowadays running with the demand of the user. So nowadays this is been growing so fast, that the technology is growing so fast that each and every mobile is having its own unique identity, and it is according to the user's demand. In addition to this, as the advances are going to change, as the advances are going to increase, so according to that advance, the technologies like, or the requirements like energy, requirement of the power consumption, which is more important for that embedded applications, is imposing somewhat the restrictions to how the applications can be developed and which kind of algorithms can be used, so that the embedded system can run smoothly and in a sophisticated manner. So this is nothing but all about the embedded computing systems. The next we are going to see the architecture of the embedded computing systems. So nowadays, so far we have seen that embedded computing, what is that actually? And this embedded computing system is nothing but consisting of so many blocks in it. Here you can see this first one is the battery life monitoring system, which is, this battery is nothing but an external power supply required for this processor to work. Then this processor is going to work. Now this processor is nothing but going to have its own memory, So it can be the RAM memory or it can be the ROM memory, that is nothing but the flash memory, and this is nothing but comes under the computing core systems. So this computing core system is connected to the watchdog timer. So this watchdog timer is been connected to the bus. This is the bus which is interconnected with the different blocks, that is you can say the accelerators, the actuators and sensors, and the maintenance port over here. So what is actually the sensors and actuators? These sensors and actuators are nothing but the input and output devices. So if this has been controlled by the controller, for example, if you are going to input the input lines, these lines are the custom lines, that is according to the user the lines can be customized. So for example, suppose you need to control the motor, you need to control the brake system, you need to control the temperature of the sensors, that can be everything done through this A to D ADC or the DAC, that is analog to digital converter and digital to analog converter, and with the help of this the controller is been controlled and which is censored as or which is been talked as the sensors or actuators. The output can be taken in the form of actuators. Similarly, we are going to see the next is the accelerators. Now what are these accelerators? These accelerators are nothing but again the customized configuration for the logic FPGAs or the specialized logic gates. We have seen in our last lecture, that is the programmable logic gates. We have talked something about the programmable logic gates. So that is the FPGA, and this is second thing is we are going to see the processor, that is the DSP, that is the digital signal processors, again which the links can be customized as an input and output. For example, if you are going to see, it is the video links over here. So all these blocks are main converted into the maintenance port now. So what is these maintenance ports? This is nothing but the output from whatever you are going to take for this actuators, accelerators and rest all things. So the LCD, UART and the USB, these are being connected through this internal bus, and through this bus it has been connected to this computing core blocks. So these LCD, UART and USB is taken at the output for this embedded architecture systems. So if you see, a key feature of an embedded system lies in the input and the output devices, generally known as sensors and actuators. As I told you, these are the key features. The sensors and actuators are the key features. It can be inputted or it can be taken as the output port. So in this diagram, we have a bus based computing core system consisting of a RAM, ROM and a processor unit. As I told you, this is the computing core system which is consisting of a processor, which is consisting of a RAM and which is consisting of a ROM memories. The computing core system interact with the physical environment, that is the set of actuators and sensors using analog to digital and digital to analog converter. Now this is what we have seen something about the hardware system. Now if we are going to talk about the software system, at the software level the operating system and the application software are stored into the ROM memory or into the flash memory, possibly running the customized version of the Linux operating system able to satisfy the specific memory and or real-time requirements and can support additional software components such as resident monitors required by the embedded systems. So these all systems can be handled by the Linux operating system or it can be operatable on the RTOS system, that is real-time systems. Now again we are going to see something advances about the applications of real time. Now as we have seen that the system can be based on the real time system, that is on the, or it can be operated on the real time operating system. What actually it is? So if you see the first example, that is the vehicle control system for automobiles, ships, railways, airplanes, etc. So if you see the automobiles nowadays, as I told you, the wireless or the driverless car, it has been there. The ships can be run without the drivers, the railways and the airplanes. The railways and airplanes nowadays, it is not been designed with the help of without drivers, but the automobiles are obviously are nowadays running without the drivers. So this has, the vehicle has to be controlled, and that is a real time operation which has to be controlled. Second thing, the telephones, the radio, satellite communication, everything is dependent upon the real time systems. The medical systems for the radiation therapy, heart treatments, patient monitoring, etc. As I told you earlier also, these are all the real-time operating systems. These are based on the real-time operating systems. Basically the real-time applications like medical systems for radiation therapy, that is nothing but nowadays each and every system or each and every what you can say, the biomedical is also now been advances. It is getting so advanced nowadays. The therapy, the operations are based on such these embedded systems only. These operations are nowadays taking place within very easily, undergoing very easily, and this is possible only due to the embedded system things. The heart treatments is nowadays going on with the help of the embedded systems. Patient monitoring, now patient monitoring means basically the undergoing patient, it can go through the BPs, can be having the high sugars and all the rest things. So BP and sugar is the main thing which has to be under control, and that is also been nowadays the patient can check at their place also, that the patient need not to go to the hospitals nowadays. It can be checked through the home appliances as well. So that system of checking the BP or the systems to check the sugar or the diabetes patient can check at the home as well, and that machine or that system is also been designed with the help of this embedded systems. So the next operation for this embedded system is nowadays also operated in the missiles, for the firing of the missiles in the military control based applications, and everything is dependent upon this embedded systems. So second example, we are going to see the artificial intelligence and robotics. These are also with the systems where the embedded system is going so far. Multimedia system, that is the graphics, video, audio, text interfaces. Nowadays we are using WhatsApp. Each and everything is possible on that WhatsApp. What is that WhatsApp? Is nothing but a software, and that software is been component into your mobiles. That is nothing but a hardware. So the combination of this software and this hardware is nothing but an embedded systems. So the second thing also we are going to see, that is been a building control systems that manage heat, doors, elevators, etc. Means what? This embedded system has also been taken by the civil engineers, also by the civil components, where the system can be run on this space. Or next we can see the space operations such as spaceships launch and monitoring, spaceship stations control, etc. is done with the help of this embedded system. That means in satellite communication, if the rocket is going to run from the, or it has to be drive from the earth floor, where it is going to launch, and when the system is going to take place, what the procedure is going on inside, that the data can be collected easily and stored with the place, and this is nothing but again with the help of embedded system, which is a real-time operating system. So here you can see, this is the diagram which shows clearly about the devices which is holding the embedded, that is nothing but software as well as the hardware things. So if you see, this is the connecting devices, this is the consumer application devices, and this is the computing, that is connecting to each and everything. So the mobile phases which is connected to the screen phones nowadays. Earlier there was a screen which used to show the information like the caller ID, you can call it as. So that is was given to the set-top box. Now this TV remote which is given to the set-top box. Automatic PC can be runnable. That is again controlled by this embedded systems. So the PDA you can call, the smart mobile phones, the client, that is nothing but the desktop PCs, the MP3 players, the DVD player, the game consoles which I told you just now. This is the game console, that is nothing but, these are nothing but the consumer applications which is connected through this things, and together it is been computing. So each this is connecting, consuming and computing. These all things are done now with the help of the embedded systems. Now basically, as I told you now till now, that is the embedded systems, what it is. As I told you all, it is the hardware and application software oriented things. So the real time operating system, that is the RTOS. This RTOS or this embedded system is basically consisting of three main components. First one is the hardware, second one is the software, and the third one is the RTOS, which we have seen just now, that is the real-time operating systems. This real-time operating system is basically used to supervise the application software and to provide the mechanism between the processor to run process as per the scheduling by the following plan. That is nothing but this RTOS, that is operating system, whether the real time is working according to the process or no, whether this real time is going under the different mechanisms or no. To check that, to supervise that things, the RTOS has been implemented. So this RTOS is defined in a way the system is going to work, and it has also having the set of rules who is going to execute according to the application programs. And second thing, this embedded system may, a small scale embedded system may not have the RTOS. The small systems where there is a handheld gadget that could not consist of an RTOS systems. So we can define the embedded system as a microcontroller based, the software driven, reliable and real time control system. So far till now we have seen that embedded system is nothing but the what you can say, it is nothing but the combination of hardware and software. But going through this lecture, we have seen something that this embedded system is actually the controller based, as you have seen in the architecture. It is also been the software driven, as I told you the WhatsApp example, and it is the reliable, as I have given the examples of the Samsungs, as the example of the Apple phones, and it is the real time control system, as just now we have seen about the RTOS system. So you can define again the embedded system with all these qualities, with all these features. Now going through the next point, we are going to see something about the characteristics of an embedded systems. So as we know, any device if you are going to handle, that is having some its quality, that is having its own characteristics. So let us see in detail about each and every function or each and every characteristics of this embedded systems. So this embedded system, first of all, the first characteristic of the embedded system is a single function embedded system. That is nothing but, for example, a pager always functions as a pager. So what actually this single function is? An embedded system usually perform a specialized operation and does the same repeatedly. Now if you see, as I told you from first lecture, embedded system is running on a particular or a specific oriented application only. It cannot be multitask operated like your desktop PCs. On your desktop PC, you can run the multiple programs simultaneously. You can minimize, you can run the next, you can minimize this next, you can run the third. It is not possible in this embedded systems. So it is a single function embedded systems. For example, if you are going to take a pager, before the cell phone there was a device called as a pager. That pager was used to just display the messages, is it not? That was a single function, and the same function the pager used to do every time. So that is nothing but a single function embedded systems. Second characteristics of the embedded system is tightly constrained. Now tightly constrained is what? The computing system having constraint on design matrix, but those on embedded system it is specially tightened. Why? Because the design matrix is a measure on the implementation features such as cost, size, power and performance. Obviously, whenever you are going to use a gadget, it should be a handheld. Handheld means whenever you are going to go anywhere, it can be carried out easily. If such a demand of a user, obviously the cost, the size and the power as well as the performance of that gadget has to be according to the application only. So while connecting to all these features, there is some constraint, there has been some limitations for the embedded system to go through. It must be a size to fit on a single chip. As I told you earlier also, the embedded system is running on a single chip, is it not? So these features has to be fitted on that microcontroller, or that feature has to be fitted onto a single chip, so that it must perform faster. That too, it has to be processed on the real-time data system, and of course we need that it should be consuming the minimum battery and should then extend its battery life. So minimum power and maximum output should be given by the electronic gadget or the handheld devices. So consuming all these things on a single chip, it is a bit difficult, so you can call it as a tightly constrained feature of this embedded system. Next thing we are going to see, that is the reactive and real-time systems. Many embedded systems must continually react to the changes in the system's environment and must compute certain results in real time or without any delay. For example, car cruise controller. It continually monitors and reacts to the speed and brake sensors. It must compute the acceleration or deceleration repeatedly within the limited time, and a delay computation can result in a failure to control of the car. Now what is the reactive and real time? As I told you, this embedded system is based on the RTOS, that is the real time operation system. So whatever the changes, if the temperature, for example, if you are going to take the temperature sensor, now that temperature sensor, suppose according to your program, it has been designed to show the temperature, is it not? Just to show the temperature, if your programming is according to that, but as it has been designed for the real time constraint, it should also show some diversity. That is nothing but the real time system should also be reactive to the changes in the environment. According to the environment is going to change, the temperature sensor without any delay it has to show its changes. That is nothing but the real time system. For example, here we have taken a car controller. Now that car controller is whatever you have been designed, and continuously it has to monitor what is going on. Suppose, and basically it has to react on the speed and the brake sensors. Now the speed is, suppose the speed is going very fast, the brakes has to control on its own, and without any acceleration or without any acceleration or deceleration or without wasting the time, the output has to be directly given and shown, or it is the result has to be displayed. The second thing we are going to see is the microprocessor based. The third or the fourth feature of the embedded system, or the characteristics of the embedded system, is the microprocessor based. It must be microprocessor or microcontroller based system. Memory. It must have a memory, as its software usually embeds in the ROM. As I told you, whatever the hardware you are going to take, it is going to work on the software, means obviously it should have its own memory, and that memory embeds into the ROMs. So it does not need any secondary memories in the computer. Next we are going to see the characteristics, that is the connected. It must have connected peripherals to the connect input and output devices. And the next is the hardware and software systems. Software is used for more features and flexibility. Hardware is used for performance and security. So together the software, features and flexibility, obviously the hardware is nothing but based upon the performance and security. So together the hardware and software system are going to work. So far these are the different kinds of characteristics for the embedded systems. So let us see the advantages and disadvantages for this embedded systems. Easily customizable, low power consumption, low cost and enhanced performance. Easily, each and every device can be designed according to the customization. The power consumption is low for the embedded system. The design, whatever the application you are going to design, it can be in the low cost, and obviously the performance is also enhanced, it is going to get doubled. But the disadvantages is that high development efforts is requirement. So as small the device can be, the high performance it has to be given, means the development should be that much efforts or that much high. And second time, larger time to market. Now the thing is, it is, as I told you, it is the application oriented. As the application oriented means, it is going to depend upon the user's demand. If one person is requiring this application, similarly the other may require or may not require, that is the other thing. But to come into the market, to get it marketized, to get it, what you can say, the fame for that particular device, it takes much time. So this is the only disadvantage for this embedded systems. Now the next thing we are going to see, the real-time embedded systems. The real-time systems are those systems that are work within this time constraints, provide the worst case time estimates and critical situations, and the embedded system provide the specific function is much larger systems, where, as I told you all just now, each and every system has to work on the real time. It has to show and it has to perform strictly within that time period only, and it has to work according to that specific functions only. So when there is an embedded system component in the real-time system, it is called as a real-time embedded systems. Now let us see the concept of real-time. The real-time system is a time-bound system. That is, it is going to work within the fixed time period only. The processing time must be done within the defined constraints of the system will fail. Means the processing must be done within the defined constraints only. Whatever the program you are going to design, whatever the system you are going to run, that has to be time bounded only, and else if it is going to fail to run with that particular time constraint, the system could not be called as a real time system, and the system could be failure. They either can be an event driven or time sharing. The hard real time operating system has less jitter than the soft real time operating systems. Basically, now that let us see the types of real embedded time systems. There are primarily two types of real-time embedded systems. One is hard and the second one is soft. So if you can see this diagram, the real-time embedded system is categorized into two parts. One is the hard real-time embedded system and the second one is the soft real-time embedded systems. So in the hard real-time system, for example, if you can take the missile tracking system, could come under the hard real-time systems. That is nothing but only the hardware part is most importantly in the example of this hard real-time system. But if you take the example of this soft real-time system, the DVD player. Now this DVD player is connecting of the DVD which is going to play, and this DVD is going to have some software in it embedded into that. So when the DVD is been placed into that game console, then only the software is going to run. So these are the two different examples we are going to take for the real hard time system and software real time embedded systems. So let us see what the hard real time embedded system is. This type of system makes sure that all critical processes are completed within the given time frame. Now if you consider the missile, now we know the missile has to run through that particular time constraint only. So that is called as hard real time system. Now if you consider the DVD, that DVD can be played anytime according to that. That is not the real time. Okay. So this means that all the delays in the system are strictly time bound. Now if I have studied, now if I have designed some kind of particular operations, like I want to run that missile, is it not? Now that missile has to be run on that particular time period, so it is called as, or it is strictly time bounded, which comes under the real time. Also there is little to no secondary memory and data is shortened in the short term memory or read only memory. Also there is a little to no secondary memory is present in that, or a very few memory system is there into that, or it may be only the read only memory. So the hard real time systems are used in various areas such as missiles, airplanes, etc. Now what do you mean by soft real time embedded systems? So there are much less constructive than hard real time systems, but the basic premise is the same. Critical processes need to be completed within the given time frame. The same thing, it is also on the real time system, but not to that hard with respect to the hard real time systems. However, this time frame can be little flexible. As I told you, the DVD can be played later on also. But the hard real time, the aeroplane, if you take the aeroplane, has to fly within that time constraint only. So this is the difference between the hard and real systems. So little bit flexible has been given for the soft real time systems. So the soft real time systems are used in various areas such as multimedia, scientific projects, etc. And thank you. So far we have seen everything related to the embedded systems, what are the characteristics, how it can be, what is the concept of real time systems, what are the applications, and rest all things we have seen for this embedded computing systems. So far we have ended with the first chapter. So thank you.